Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and today I have a surprise for you guys. I'm going to start a new series called Were They Right? In this series, we'll be going over movies that have come out in the past and revisit the overall opinion of the film. The goal of this series is to challenge the general audience's opinion of past movies. We'll be revisiting the classics, bad movies, mid movies, good movies that changed their genre, movies that helped society, movies that did not help society,
Happy movies.
sad
Movies that you really like playing in the
movies
background.
that
you don't want to play in the background because you want to understand why you like the movie and you like watching it a lot.
Movies that help introverts, movies that are good for extroverts,
parties,
movies that you don't want to look away from. Movies, just movies. You get the point. I think this is gonna be fun. This should be a cool experiment for everyone involved, and I'm excited. All right, let's see what we have today. Oh my God!
No!
Yes. What a great way to start off this series. The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is one of the most controversial and divided films of all time. I have never seen so many people speak so highly and so low of one film. For crying out loud, people were blaming Rian Johnson for ruining Star Wars when this movie came out. My goodness. There were some people who thought this was the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. Then, there were some people who thought this was the worst Star Wars movie of all time. Now, with the Star Wars movies that have come out before and after The Last Jedi, I don't know if these people are correct. So, we're going to see if they were right about The Last Jedi. Guys, The Last Jedi is so bizarre. There's only one word to describe The Last Jedi, and that's bipolar. So, let's address the bipolar nature of this movie. On one hand, we have the Resistance storyline, which, let's be honest, is messy and inconsistent. From inexplicable decisions to characters seemingly forgetting their own arcs, this side of the narrative left much to be desired. Characters like Finn and Poe felt underutilized, and their motivations often seem muddled. Not to mention the questionable strategies employed by the Resistance leadership. Poe starts with, to be honest, a good foundation for an interesting character arc. He's learning how to chill out and not blow everything up. The need to not be a hero after every mission. That's a part of his character arc. To be honest, that's a pretty good foundation, but it falls flat. Throughout the movie, they make him do some pretty insane stuff. After he loses in the beginning of the movie, Leia punishes him, but the moment the next action scene happens, he's back in the action. What? Okay, I guess by this logic, I can go outside, break into someone's house, and not get arrested. Where are the consequences? What are we doing here? Why in the world did they not ground him for this? Oh yeah, I forgot. We need him for the next action scene. We can't have anyone else take the spotlight. It has to be Poe Dameron. This may seem like a small problem, but situations like these happen throughout the entire movie, and it all adds up. Later, he goes against the general's plan behind her back and creates a full-on mutiny when he doesn't agree with her plan. By the end of the movie, he's fully come around and is transformed by the power of bad writing. When the Resistance leaves the main ship and the escape ships undetected, the plan works. Leia's all like, see Poe, you don't have to blow things up. It's good to have a plan where everyone escapes. Yippee, I'm one with the Force. Then we as an audience are shown that this is the moment Poe finally learns his lesson. He grows up and he learns you don't need to be a hero all the time. But then the First Order finds the ships and starts blowing them up. This makes the whole narrative confusing because Poe is supposed to learn his lesson because the plan worked, but it actually didn't. So it makes this arc feel inconsistent and confusing. We're supposed to believe that he's learned his lesson, but with the events that happen in this movie, it doesn't feel earned. This lesson falls flat because of the inconsistencies in the story arc. I would say this is where Finn's character starts to get messed up in this sequel trilogy. The Last Jedi managed to misuse Finn in the most ridiculous way. Throughout the entire movie, he basically goes through the same character arc in The Force Awakens, and it's frustrating to watch. We already saw Finn try to run from the war, but comes to terms for what he values, which is fighting for his friends. And now he's doing it again. I don't like how he's the one who has to go to Canto Bight to learn the effects of war. Finn, the defective stormtrooper, knows the effects of war, in case you haven't figured that out. So why is he here? The whole Canto Bight scene is so stupid. It feels so kiddish and out of tone with the whole movie. Not only is it a waste of our time, it ruins Finn's character. There's no reason for him to try and learn the effects of war because he knows what war does. If anything, Poe should be the one on Canto Bight learning this lesson. It should be Finn teaching Poe the effects of war. That would be so impactful. But no. Disney decided to have Finn learn this for some odd reason. I don't feel like Rose adds anything to the story. Her inclusion doesn't feel necessary. She's not the worst Star Wars character ever, and her performance isn't bad, but she just doesn't feel necessary for a movie like this. Now, I'm not saying a character like Rose can't be used in Star Wars, and I want to make it clear that this isn't the actor's fault. I think Rian Johnson misplaced her in a story like this. I feel like she could have been viable if the story was written better, but I don't think they used her correctly. These inconsistent character arcs make the viewing experience so frustrating. Say what you want about Rian Johnson, but I know he knows how to write a good story. I've seen Poker Face, I've seen The Glass Onion. Those are some classics. So I don't think this is entirely his fault, but still. It's so frustrating to watch this side of the story because of the inconsistencies in the narrative. It's hard to stay invested when the plot feels like it's spinning in circles. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Let's shift our focus to the Jedi storyline, which, in contrast, is nothing short of amazing. From Rey's journey of self-discovery to Luke Skywalker's complex portrayal, this side of the narrative was incredibly engaging. And yes, I said that correctly. I think Rey's character arc is really engaging. She's trying to find her place in the galaxy, and in a world where the galaxy is big and complex, that's such a deep character arc for a main character. Being in a galaxy this big can make someone like Rey feel lost. To have her try and find her place is so engaging, and it's executed well. We see her trying to find acceptance through Luke and Han in the last movie, because she's trying to find her way. I know a lot of people like to call Rey a Mary Sue and don't like how strong she is, but honestly, this doesn't bother me. And it's not that we haven't seen main characters from Star Wars be good at certain things. Just because Rey has a natural strength for the Force doesn't make her a Mary Sue, in my opinion. The fact that she's going through her personal struggles evens out her character. So seeing her naturally strong in the Force and pick up on certain things, it doesn't bother me too much because she goes through her personal struggles. Her arc feels so real, and I love how The Last Jedi portrays her struggles. Kylo Ren, as always, is great on screen. His internal struggle is portrayed in an engaging way. To see a character who is fully devoted to the dark side struggle with the pull of the light is such an engaging character arc. And we see this arc played out very well in this movie. Kylo desperately wants to be devoted to the dark side, and he is, but the pull of the light continues to call him. It's so interesting to see this conflict within him, and it's a unique character arc for a villain. The relationship between him and Rey is engaging to watch and works for the movie. It's cool to see our hero Rey hate Kylo, but eventually warm up to him. It adds complexity to both characters, and it shows us how conflicted Kylo is. All of these factors make Kylo Ren's character engaging to watch. And of course, we must talk about the elephant in the room, Luke Skywalker. There are people who claim Luke Skywalker's character was ruined in this movie, and I disagree. I think Luke is one of the bright spots in this movie. Now hear me out. He comes off very bitter and old, but to be honest, this makes him more interesting. He's not being bitter and mean for no reason. The film establishes why Luke is the way he is, and why he's disconnected from the Force. Luke dealing with a lot of failure and regret for creating Kylo Ren is very, very powerful. The weight of being a hero crushed him because he didn't know how to handle this failure, and that is such an interesting character arc for Luke to go through. Now I can see why some people are upset how he was portrayed at times. To see him almost kill a youngling will upset some people, and I totally understand that. But do we remember who his dad is? If we never see Luke after Rey leaves the island, I will understand why some people wouldn't like how his character was portrayed. But his character arc comes full circle when he goes out of his way to save the Resistance. This isn't just something a Jedi would do, but this is an action Luke Skywalker would do. For Luke to overcome his own regret and failure to be the hero he needs to be is so powerful. I love how no one else dies when he arrives. He does everything in his power to give the Resistance as much time as possible to escape, and it all comes full circle. And for him to die in front of the sun is one of the most powerful scenes in the movie. Luke sacrificed his life to give hope to the galaxy. That's so cool. Some people may not like what I'm saying, but I'm sorry. It's just true. It's what I feel. Luke Skywalker's character was not ruined in this movie. If anything, this adds to his character, and I think it's really cool. Hey, remember who his father is? Rey struggled to find her place in the Force, Luke's internal conflict, and Kylo's pull to light added depth and emotional resonance to the film. And let's not forget about the stunning visuals and exhilarating lightsaber battles that kept us on the edge of our seats. There are some shots that are breathtaking. I love the aesthetic of Crate. It's such a cool planet, and I honestly wish we got to spend more time there. Well, it is a mining planet, so I guess I get it. I think one of the coolest scenes is when Snoke gets bodied and Rey and Kylo have to fight his guard. It's so engaging to watch, and I think Snoke dying was a good thing for this movie. It expands on Kylo's character and it makes him a real threat. It sets up for him to be the supreme leader of the galaxy, and that would have been interesting to see, but we all know what happens next. In the stories that I've watched Rian Johnson produce, he does a great job creating engaging plot twists, and I feel like he does a great job here. Kylo killing Snoke is a great twist in my opinion. It makes Kylo a real threat to the galaxy and expands on his character. To have Luke show up as a projection of himself to distract Kylo is so cool, and I don't care what anyone says. It not only fooled the audience, but it fooled Kylo. That's really powerful. This scene demonstrates how far our villain has fallen, and I lost my mind when I saw it in the theaters for the first time. These twists aren't just here to keep your attention, they're here to expand on the story. Both situations shows us how far Kylo Ren has fallen and what he really values. So I gotta give Rian Johnson his flowers because this is some good writing. I really like some of the themes in this movie. This is the first Star Wars movie that tries to expand deep themes to its audience. While some of the themes are inconsistent, some aren't. The idea of being a hero and failure are the ones I personally enjoy. I love how Yoda shows up and tells Luke to suck it up because failure is one of our greatest teachers. This is a great way to demonstrate the theme of failure to our main character and to the audience. I think it's cool to see Star Wars expand itself in this way. It makes The Last Jedi a unique story. But I can also see why some people don't like this movie because it is very flawed. The movie isn't perfect and it's extremely bipolar, but you can still find some enjoyment. So, were they right about The Last Jedi? Well, depends how you look at it. Some people think this is the worst Star Wars movie ever, and I strongly disagree. While The Last Jedi has its problems, it's certainly, and I mean certainly, not the worst Star Wars movie ever made. I think this is an overreaction. Well, if it's not the worst Star Wars movie ever made, then it must be the best Star Wars movie, right? Not exactly. There are some people who claim this to be the best Star Wars movie ever, but while there are a lot of good things in the film, it's hard to look at these glaring issues and claim this to be the best Star Wars movie. To me, A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back are the bar for the best Star Wars movies, and with the major flaws this movie has, it doesn't scratch the surface. Overall, there are people who make this movie a lot worse than it seems and a lot better than what it really is. Then there are people who don't like the movie for a good reason, and people who just think it's alright. I fall in the it's alright category. It's a good movie with some major flaws. It's not bad enough to be unwatchable, but I can see why some people don't like this movie. The flaws hold this movie back from being an all-time classic, but I think it's good enough to enjoy. So to have an extreme view of this movie just doesn't sit right with me personally. The Last Jedi is a good yet flawed film. It's alright, but at the end of the day, it's Star Wars. Love it or hate it, it's a part of a galaxy far, far away. So, I'm going to give The Last Jedi a solid 7 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, you can check out my other videos. I review other Star Wars products such as the Ahsoka show and the Kenobi show. I am going to do more Star Wars things. It is my favorite franchise after all. So yeah, I was thinking about reviewing the original trilogy, the prequels, and the sequels. I think that would be really, really fun. Obviously, I already reviewed The Last Jedi in this video, so when I do that video again, I'll be reviewing The Last Jedi again to see if my opinions changed or to add on some new things that I didn't cover in this video. So yeah, I think that'll be really fun. So yeah, do have some plans for future Star Wars videos, and I think it'll be really fun. So if you want to check that out for the future, you can check out my other videos and subscribe if you want to. If you don't like the content, then that's okay. You don't have to subscribe. It's up to you. It's your life. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.